All right, so you want to start a meal prep company, but you've only got $500. Well, you're going to need a very clever way to take orders. So we're discussing ordering systems. Now, in the last video, hopefully you saw that, we discussed sales. But let's fast forward and assume you got the sales part taken care of. We've got our first 10, 20, or 50 clients who are going to have our first week's order with. So remember, in sales, we want to get at least 10. We want to keep the menu simple, no more than 10 to 20 items. And now we've got these people sold, they like the menu. Now, somehow we got it out to them, or at least they like the concept that we're giving them. Maybe we're not giving them the menu. In fact, let's start and talk about that first. One option that you have is what's called the chef's choice. That's where some meal plans will just basically pick for the client. So you'll sign up for the paleo plan, or you'll just sign up for the meal plan in general. Maybe you'll tell them what your allergens are, or maybe it's for people who aren't super picky. It's okay to say no to people who are too picky when you're too small to make these caveats, because it does get expensive. So let's say you got some normal people who are making it nice and easy for you, and they will allow you to just send them 10 meals a week or however many meals a week, and you get to pick them. That's the best way to do it. Here's why. Number one, you're able to have a smaller menu. You're not trying to, give them a menu that they have to choose from, because if you want to make a 10-item menu, it's going to be hard to get people to, be satisfied with that if they're picking from it. Something psychological. But when you're just sending it to them, and the reason I'm using 10 as far as meals is the average meal plan customer is going to look at lunch and dinner Monday through Friday as the hardest meals. So that's the most common order ticket number, I'd say, is 10. That's lunch and dinner Monday through Friday while I'm at work, or the work evenings where I've got a bunch of stuff going on and I'm trying to get from work to karate practice and ballet and all this other stuff. I don't want to be going to Whole Foods. I don't want to be cooking. So that's why people see the most value in at least the basic 10. So I would start, if I were you, with a very generic kind of one-size-fits-all model, 10 or 15 meals or maybe 20 meals, something like that, and you're just on or off. It makes it very easy. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more complicated, you'll give them a menu, keep it limited, but give them a menu and let them select. Either way, there's going to have to be a way for them to tell you that they want an order, or if you're giving them a menu to select from, what they're ordering. You can have an email system very simply, very cheaply set up. Just set up a Gmail. If you're a little bit more savvy, you can register your domain that you want. You can get an email set up through your domain, so you have something that's a little bit more professional, arguably. I will admit that every time we see a company who has like @Gmail or something, it just looks like what we call Mickey Mouse. It looks like Fisher Price, my first business, and it just. But it's one of those things. It's a detail. Don't let that stop you. I respect the guy who has Gmail on his business card, because at least he's executing. Now, if you have Gmail on your business card for over a year, you're doing something wrong. But let's start off with a Gmail. We've got mymealplan@gmail.com, and you've exchanged emails with all these people. Maybe there are a bunch of people you work with, friends and family, people on Facebook, whatever. You've got their contact information, and if they're just on or off and they're buying the 10 meals and makes it easy, the chef's choice thing that I mentioned makes it very easy. They could even text you an order. But you're still going to want to then truncate all of these emails and text messages and phone calls and smoke signals and messenger pigeons into a spreadsheet. From that spreadsheet, and speaking of spreadsheets, we'll get into the G Suite next, but with the spreadsheet, I'm going to, discussing G Suite, I'm going to send you, I don't know how yet, because I'm not super familiar with YouTube, but I will figure out a way. If you contact me, or you somehow give me your email, I'm going to send you what I call the Beast, affectionately. And that is an ordering system that I built on a spreadsheet. The reason I call it the Beast, just to give you an example of how impressive this is, and I'll do a video for it too, to walk you through exactly what you're getting into, and it'll also help when you have it. And I'm gonna give it to you for free. I don't care. I put so much time into it. Every time, probably the 6th or 7th version, I put about 40 to over 60 hours in it each time I did a revision. So 6 to 7 times. I got hundreds of hours into this, and it's collecting dust because now we've got a much more intelligent system. But if this is something that's on your level, that would still help you. And this was built, the Beast was built to handle up to 600, over 600 orders a week. So you'd get to over 600 clients on this spreadsheet with all this automation built into it. And I can actually show you to get so much more out of it than even what I did, but it's going to handle, it's going to track your orders for you, obviously. It's going to help you with packing. We haven't used it in years, so it's a little fuzzy for me. It will track your orders, track packing, track production. It'll track billing. I had it so that if you had credits and stuff like that, let's say you messed up my order or I canceled the order late and you already charged me, but instead of refunding me, you're crediting me. That's an awesome thing to do because you don't want to refund people. You just rather credit them and let them use that next week. It has crediting built into that too, so you can keep track of credits, or if you messed up on an order and you're buying it back from me, you're giving them a refund, you can keep track of the credits on there. Is that way as well. Helps with packing. It'll say who's got what items, all the SKUs and all that other stuff. It's got so much, and I'll go over more of that in that video, but that will be a great initial order system for you, just to get started out, because like I said, it'll make or break you. I can think of so many examples, and I don't want to go into all these stories that keep popping up in my head because it's not necessary. The bottom line is you need a sufficient ordering system, and that's an easy way to start. Once you get into big boy kind of stuff and you have money to do, once we're beyond our $500 budget, we're profitable, and we're going to start investing in an actual website. There's two basic platforms that I would recommend, and here's why. Well, first let's get to G Suite. G Suite is Google's outfit of all sorts of apps. So get a Gmail, get G Suite. G Suite is like $6 to $12 a month. It'll allow you to have all the stuff that like Microsoft Office has, where you have spreadsheets and PowerPoint equivalent. They've got an equivalent for like just about everything. Like even like I think Google has Photoshop equivalents and all this free stuff, and they've got all these apps and plugins. So use Chrome. Chrome's a good browser as well. Hope you're writing all this stuff down. But so we've got you set up. We've got you on G Suite. The beautiful thing about G Suite is you can share docs through the cloud. You can access them through anywhere. And when we were starting this out, I remember, you are everything. So you have to have access to all knowledge at all times from your phone. So having everything on the Google Drive, all your records, all your spreadsheets, all your orders and everything there is super cool. And that's also where I built the Beast. It's on a G Suite or a G Sheet, Google Sheet. So I'll share that with you. You'll have access with that, automate a lot of stuff. So we've got you on G Suite at least. Now we're making a little bit more money. The next step that you're going to be looking into is now either one or two things. I should have said, if you have money or if you have the willingness to learn, because honestly, I've learned so much and it saves so much. If you're willing to sit down, and it's very easy, and learn about WordPress or Shopify, those are the two platforms that I would suggest you start with. Shopify, I would say, is a bit easier to get started. It's a bit easier to learn, but it's a little bit limited on what it's able to do. So WordPress is more customizable. They have what they call I think plugins, and they're basically like apps, all these different things. So one might be a shopping cart, one might be a coupon tracking system. WooCommerce is a very good e-commerce platform for WordPress. So this is all stuff that if you really just spent some time and some serious hours learning and watching some videos online, you could actually build something pretty substantial. $500, it's going to be you doing the development. Once you have some cash flow coming in, you can have somebody else do it. But these are the two basic platforms that I would go with. The pros and cons, again, WordPress, I would say you could probably grow to offer more. You could be a bigger company, assuming that a bigger company needs to offer more options to their members. WordPress would be better for that. Shopify, in my experience, very good to start out the gate, very easy to get you going. But as far as changing the menu more frequently, which is something you gotta do when you're bigger, having more options. It just gets really hard to customize it for this business because it's such a weird model. There's not a lot of stores online where their menu or their clothing inventory or their whatever the SKUs are changes weekly or changes monthly, you know. Restaurants don't even do that. So when it seems like it's a very simple business, but once you start thinking about it, there's not a lot that's out there that's like this. And then when you start thinking about it, even if there was a business that somehow had an inventory that changed weekly or monthly, like your menu probably will, maybe it won't, make things easier on yourself and don't do it. Like I said, it will hinder growth though. Even if there was something that changed like that, then we have macros and the description of the item and the picture and like all these other things that then go into the item specifically. So Shopify, you can't expect a lot of stuff built right off the shelf, ready to rock and roll. So expect that. Now, what is cool with WordPress, one thing I don't like about Shopify, I should say, either way, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't like Shopify because it forces you to use their merchant processing, and they charge a lot. So your merchant processing is when you run credit cards or whatever, you take payment. When you're doing it through e-commerce, obviously you're not going to be taking checks, and really when you grow your business, you're not going to want to be taking checks because it's the 21st century. But it gets pretty expensive when you're with Shopify and you don't have an option to use anybody else. If you set something up on WordPress, you can use you can select your own merchant processing. You can make them get competitive for fees. I will also tell you this, and I'll put a link, Flow Ninja, FLONINJA.com, flowninja.com, FLONINJA.com. They do merchant processing. They are very well aware of meal plans, how they're supposed to be coded. That's another thing with merchant processing. When we first started, we actually had our funds frozen for 3 weeks because someone coded us as a fast food restaurant, and it looked really weird that a fast food restaurant was doing over $100 every ticket, and the same person would come back every week, once a week, and spend the same $100. Like everybody's spending the same amount. Is $110.40 was our total ticket back then. Everybody got 10 meals plus delivery with tax, $110.40. Everybody had it, and they froze our account because we were coded as a fast food restaurant. And they're like, what kind of hamburgers are these? Flow Ninja knows not to do that. So if you don't want to have headaches like that and you want the lowest merchant fees I've ever seen with this business or actually any other business, Flow Ninja, FLONINJA. It's like flow without the W. FLONINJA.com. Such a weird thing to spell. It seems like it'd be so easy to spell. I feel like an idiot. It's been a long day. What else? So yeah, WordPress is pretty awesome. We were on WordPress for a while, and that's definitely better than the and I'll put links to these down below. It's definitely better than the spreadsheet game and all that. Actually, we were on WordPress and we were still using the spreadsheet because even WordPress did have some limitations at the time. We used a development team to build it out. Here's one thing: when you do get to developing software, if you want to do something that's custom, it's going to be really hard because this is a very novel industry. They're going to say that they understand it and yada yada yada. It's very hard. We have plenty of friends who are in the meal plan industry. One I was just speaking with today, and we were just sharing war stories about his software development that's currently going on. And basically my rule of thumb is when you get into developing software, expect it to take 30% longer and cost at least 30% more than what you originally quoted. And that 30% is a fair number. We've had projects. We've got one project right now that's coming up on 2 months behind schedules, and I've seen a project that we were waiting on that was probably over a year behind as far as finished product, what we were expecting to be done. So it's rough, and a lot of it is because they don't understand the intricacies of this business. It looks very simple from the outside, and they'll just go into it with a lot of confidence, and then they realize, oh wait, you can't do this like this, or I built this like this, but I have to be prepared for this situation that I wasn't aware of because I'm not from the industry. So You'll never be able to tell them every single thing that they have to take account for and consider, and it's just one of those things. You're gonna have to be prepared. But other than that, back to the $500. Hopefully this is the longest video that we do. $500. We're not messing with this stuff unless we're willing to roll up our sleeves and do it. I would suggest going on websites like Udemy and Lynda and edX, and I'll put links to all of those below as well, and just see what you can learn. Find a system, Shopify, WordPress, build it yourself, but until then, start with the Gmail, get some money coming in. Initially taking money, you can start with Square. When you don't have a website or anything set up, you can start with Square. You could start with, you're not supposed to do Venmo because that's not supposed to be for businesses, so you're not supposed to have people Venmo you to your phone. I don't know how that's tracked. I don't know if it'd be all right if you did that for a few months or while you got started until you had enough money. I don't know. I would imagine some people do that. They take Venmo payments, or maybe a combination of a few things. Or if these are people who you personally know, maybe you are able to get checks initially. But e-commerce is going to be the way that you're going to go, because you're never going to be able to grow to have enough people to be profitable and still be taking checks unless you got some weird patience for collecting checks and dealing with all that kind of stuff. So you have to figure out a way. I suggest Flow Ninja, but that is what it's going to look like. Again, for the ordering system, reach out to me. I want to set you up with the Beast spreadsheet. Look in my videos for the Beast demo. I'll do a quick walkthrough and explain it. There's a lot, and if you're not familiar with it, the meal plan industry, some people I know are new to it. Some people haven't been in it at all, so they're completely unfamiliar with it. There's a lot of stuff that'll probably be confusing, but it's part of the game. You just gotta keep on learning. Everything is a learning process. So that's all I got for you tonight. Give me any questions, any comments, anything you want to see more of. If this video is too long and you want me to do shorter ones, I'm here to try to share, and I want to do it in the most appealing way possible so you enjoy the experience, you have nice comments and questions, and not, hey idiot, how about you save us some time and make a shorter video, or hey idiot, why don't you go into more detail about something instead of just glazing over it. But yeah, now that you got your sales underway, you've got your ordering system kind of figured out, hypothetically in our situation, the next thing we're going to talk about is production.